Play.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We've got an intriguing semi-final clash coming up in Shanghai between Novak Djokovic and Valentin Vacherot. Yes, Valentin Vacherot. You heard me right. Coming into the tournament outside the top 100, he has now, of course, cracked the top 100 with his run to the semi-final, a remarkable run that just came from nowhere and few people would have expected. On the other side of the net, of course, Novak Djokovic, many people would have expected him to make the semis, but lying in wait for him potentially would have been Jannik Sinner, and that's where many would have thought his run would have ended. However, Jannik is no longer in the tournament, having retired injured a couple of rounds ago in his clash with Talon Griekspoor. Griekspoor, of course, was a victim of Vacherot on this incredible run in the round of 16 after a three-set win that saw Vacherot come from a set down to overcome the Dutchman. Vacherot, of course, was an alternate. So he's not even just a qualifier. He was an alternate in the qualification rounds, ultimately squeezing in and then coming through in 3 sets over Basavaredi and 3 sets as well over Draxl. But who would have thought at that stage that we would end up seeing the Monegasque in the semi-finals? In the first round, he beat Laszlo Djere in straight sets before coming from a set down as well to beat Alexander Bublik in 3 sets. He got past Thomas Machac with the Czech retiring down a set and a break. And then in the round of 16, as I mentioned, he got past Griekspoor before beating Holger Rune in the quarterfinal, also coming from a set down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches that he has been a set down in before coming back. So maybe if Novak takes the first set, we shouldn't read too much into it. Some other funny, quirky things, by the way. I would like to do a comparison between these two players. We've got their total prize money won. Novak Djokovic is in excess of $190 million, whilst Valentin Vacherot is at just a fraction over $594,000. Now, what does that differential mean? It means it would take, bearing in mind Vacherot has been on the tour the best part of a decade, while of course Novak has been on the tour for over 2 decades, but it would take Vacherot, and I did the calculation, 2,882 years at that rate to eventually get to the amount of money that Novak Djokovic has accrued. Another quirky thing, though, is that is obviously going to change drastically after this tournament. And in fact, should Vacherot make the final, he would earn $597,000 from that alone. And of course, that would eclipse his entire career's earnings. So in the space of just over a week, he could eclipse the entire career earnings that he's done in 9 years on the tour. More than 9 years, I think, on the tour. All right, let's get into the match itself. More comparisons, of course. We've got Djokovic is a 24-time Grand Slam legend, and Vacherot, a surprise semi-finalist who's been making headlines throughout his journey in Shanghai. Let's dive into the preview, key stats, and of course, ultimately, my prediction for this exciting matchup. So let's go. Djokovic, by the way, during this run has overcome. I think Djokovic, by the way, is no. Listen, this Djokovic does the Djokovic, sorry, of 2023, 2021, and pretty much most years of his career, with the odd exception. But let's just think about some of his best years on tour. And as recently as 2023 is one of his best years, albeit that I think obviously 2011 and 2015 would maybe just eclipse it. But and maybe even 2021 as well, of course, when he was almost a calendar Grand Slam champion. But that level is not there anymore. That Djokovic does not struggle to beat Cilic, Hanfmann, and Munar. And even against these two Bergs, you know, the gap should be much bigger, in my opinion, than what turned out. Djokovic obviously needing two bites of the cherry in terms of two occasions he was trying to serve for the match and nearly got pushed to a tiebreak, even on the second occasion when he was serving for it, squandering 2 match points before eventually sealing the deal. But the Novak Djokovic of 2023 or 2021 or 2011 or 2015 hasn't been needed to get to the semi-finals and probably won't be needed to get to the final, as heroic as Vacherot's run has been. In terms of the matchup, anyway, they've never played each other before. So this is their first ever meeting, and Djokovic comes in with a 2025 record that's still pretty consistent. He's probably serving, even if some of the other parts of his game, movement being the primary one, I still think he's serving at the absolute top that he can produce and has produced. I think maybe the reactions on the return are not quite what they used to be. Whilst Vacherot, by the way, has been fearless throughout, and he's attacking early, stepping inside the baseline when he possibly can, and using his athleticism to dictate rallies. Of course, we might have an all-cousin final with Vacherot's cousin Rinderknech, of course, Artur Rinderknech, that is, in the semi-final on the other side of the draw against Daniil Medvedev. So they're probably both outsiders in their semi-finals, but who knows? Stranger things have happened, and even perhaps in the last 10 days in Shanghai. Vacherot's forehand, by the way, has been on fire this week, and his confidence is sky high after beating some of these seeded players, in particular, of course, Holger Rune in the previous round, although Rune was a little compromised towards the end of that match, as we saw, also seemingly suffer from cramps. Rune, though, obviously isn't too bad long-term. I see he's just squeezed in as a late entry for Stockholm. Okay, so how will the Djokovic-Vacherot match pan out? For Djokovic, the key is to neutralize Vacherot's pace early, keep rallies deep, mix up the tempo, and expose that relatively untested second serve. Expect Novak to use his backhand down the line often to break up Vacherot's rhythm. As for Vacherot, it's all about shortening the points, I think, but I do think even lengthening the points, if it's not too contradictory, isn't the worst thing in the world, but he's got to keep hitting that ball deep. His serve plus forehand combo will also need to be flawless. What about the intangibles and the pressure factor? Well, I think that might well be the key thing that tips the balance in Novak's favor. Novak, once he goes deep in these tournaments, is not lacking in motivation, especially in Shanghai, where he's enjoyed a great deal of crowd support. Vacherot might get to a point where, let's say he's down a set and a break, and he goes, you know what? This has been a remarkable 10 days that has changed my life forever, both in terms of cracking the top 100, but also prize money, which even if he doesn't get to the final, will still be about 80% of his entire prize money. I think it's about 400,000 he's already earned. So, he certainly had a good 10 days. And he might just go, you know what? This has been great, and think about a tournament, and also just go, you know what, I'm not coming back from this. And I think also the person on the side of the net might get to him. But we'll see. So far, he's really played as though he has nothing to lose, and if he can maintain that, he might make life tricky for Novak. But can you do that across 3 sets? Because I don't see Vacherot winning this in straights. Well, talking of which, my prediction is that I do think Djokovic wins this in straight sets, but not without a challenge. I think Vacherot is enjoying the conditions, at least in terms of surface speed, and he's having a lot of fun in Shanghai, and I do think that might make things tricky. But 2 tight sets, therefore, going the way of Novak. But still, this has been an incredible step forward for Vacherot, making a Masters semi-final that put him in good stead for 2026. What do you think? Do you think Vacherot can pull off the upset, or do you also, like me, see Novak eventually prevailing? Let me know in the comments section below, and also make sure you give us a follow on Instagram at Talking Tennis TT, and on TikTok as well, Talking Tennis. Oh, and we'll also have a watch along for this match with James and Zach, so be sure to join us for that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Thanks.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hey, Zach, how you doing? Zach,
James,
you're muted. There we go.
We're off to a hot start. I was muted there. Forgive me for my backdrop or lack thereof. I am on baby duty tonight. My son, baby Archie, is in the background absorbing tennis. The next great American tennis player right back there. James, I have an important question for you before we get started.
Yeah, go on.
Are you named after the band, James, or the Bible? Both British, by the way.
I have no idea how I've got my name. All I know is that I've got a very royal name because not only is my first name a name of a former king of England, both king of England and king of Scotland, but then also my middle names as well. Like I've got Harry, which can be short for Henry, and we have a lot of kings of England that have been named Henry, and then also Alfred, going right back to the medieval times or the Saxon times. So effectively, I've got 3 kings in my name. It's not as much as the 6 kings as we're going to have next week, but it's I've got 3 English kings in my name, which is
what a great plug for the 6 Kings Slam or tournament or whatever
I
it
cannot
is.
believe I just did a mini plug for
that was
6. Yeah.
that glorious. I also would just like to be the first to say, as we're talking tennis here, it's just nice to see somebody from Monaco come out on top for a change. What a run the Monegasque player has had. You could say he has been the luckiest player in the tournament. Maybe that's a cynical way of viewing it. But I saw Djokovic's draw, and I was just thinking on it before the broadcast started. And I got to tell you, Djokovic is comparably lucky. He has had one of the weakest draw runs in terms of the talent level he's played against to potentially get to the final of a 1000s that I think I've ever seen. Like, and we're about to get underway here. Don't want to take away from him. You only can play the players in front of you, but he has had a joke of a draw as the match has begun, and the Monegasque, by the way, take a shot every time I say that, wins the first point. Big serve.
Yeah, I think you're like 5 seconds behind me, but barring that, I think we're pretty much in a good place. It's an interesting one, really. I mean, just touching on the Monegasque first of all, it kind of shows. We keep on hearing the statement from a lot of top pros and whatnot, which is the reality is that the gap between those those on the main tour and those who apply their trade on the main tour week in week out, and those that are at the top of the challenger circuit really isn't that big. And we've had this run here from Valentin where came through quite a tricky qualifying situation, ranked outside the top 200 in the world, which to say for a player who nearly broke the world's top 100 a couple of years ago was a bit of a shocker. But for him to become from where he is, beat Nishesh Bachelorelli in the first qualifying round, I mean that's a tricky first one, and then to go on to do what he's done from there. I mean, it just shows that you just get hit your form enough on these big tournaments, and especially at a tournament where Valentin realistically is full of energy, whereas the players he's played have all been pretty knackered because they've all done big seasons so far. Hey presto, you got yourself to the semi-final of one of the biggest events on tour.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a guy a few years back at the Miami Open who was like a stockbroker as his day job that qualified and got a couple wins. Like there's so little separating. And then when you throw in a player with a huge serve like Vacherot on top of it, Riley Opelka, someone who's talked about this. The cool thing about his game is that he can beat anybody. The hard thing about his game is that he can lose to literally anybody. Vacherot, I think, with his serves is not quite that extreme, but comparable.
No.
Noah Flintley has a really good question. Low key, do you think there's any chance Zverev is going to win a Slam or a 1,000 next year? James, what do we think for the German-Russian?
I think there is a potential chance of a Masters. You could say. I mean, we've got Paris.
And sorry to interrupt, James. Djokovic already has 2 break points to start the match, not the start the Monegasque.
Djokovic is doing exactly what he needs to be doing, which is extend the rallies, because that's where he's going to get the mistakes out of Valentin's. I'm going to say Valentin. I can't pronounce his second name. His racket.
Is it Valentin?
Valentin, I think, isn't it? Valentin.
That's more musical. That sounds better.
Sounds very
Valentin.
French, which he is. I mean, in reality, he is French. He's not Monegasque. In terms of, I don't think he was actually born in Monaco, but he's been claimed.
And there he is. Djokovic has gotten the break to start the match. So I think it's that Vacherot has come back from four times in this tournament. He has been down a set. He will be down a set in this match as well. The difference is I do not expect him to come back. I do not think this is going to be a 3-setter. I think Djokovic is going to roll him. If Djokovic doesn't, then we should assume that Medvedev is going to win this 1,000.
Well, trickier. He's got the trickier cousin, of course, in the second match in the established name in Arthur Rinderknecht.
Oh, and it looks like Djokovic's new coach is in the box, Boris Bosniakovic. I didn't quite catch that full name, but Boris in the box. Great name, Boris, by the way. What do you think so far of their young partnership? Obviously, not off to a bad start here.
No, I mean this is the first tournament they've been working together. If I'm correct, I'm probably not.
So he's undefeated with this coach. Interesting.
Undefeated with this coach. I mean, I suspect it's this is one of the areas where Djokovic gets a lot of love in Shanghai. He doesn't get too much, because they love seeing the fact that, oh my God, it's Novak Djokovic. Absolutely one of the greatest players. He'll probably be the greatest player to ever have played the game, and. He gets all the love here, and he loves coming back. Here, which is very apparent. And he's looking good at the moment to get to do what he did last year, which is to get to the final and potentially even win it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Djokovic is any year that he doesn't win a Grand Slam, it's not just a disappointment of a year; it's a shock. Now he's 38 years old, so less so this year than in any previous season. But I think good for him to get a couple of wins under his belt. Hopefully win a 1,000 here, and go into the Australian Open riding high. On my last broadcast, we talked about how Djokovic's best chances for a major are the 2026 Australian and 2026 Wimbledon. And not to be hyperbolic or dramatic, those might be his last 2 chances. James, do you agree with that assessment of those are the 2 best ones he's got? And do you think that they might be the last real shots he's going to have to add number 25?
I wouldn't rule out Roland Garros. I
Yep.
wouldn't rule out Roland Garros. I think there he has the ability to get into rallies more and use all the parts of his game. The problem he's got certainly with Sinner at the Grand Slams is that Sinner has the ability to get so many 3 points against Djokovic that he's unable really to get himself into Sinner's service games, which is what we start to see. And Sinner has a great knack of being able to get into his own service games. And I felt that match at the at Roland Garros this year. All it would have taken was a couple of points to have changed here or there, and potentially it could have gone to 5 sets, and it could have been a match that he could have won.
I guess the one thing I would push back on James though is the stamina it's going to take to win in a best of 5. If he goes 5, especially against the Sinner or Alcaraz, I just don't know if he's got that much gas in the tank anymore. I think you're spot on with your Roland Garros analysis, but I think if he has a tough match before Alcaraz or Sinner, and they have a relatively easy one, I just don't see how he can keep up with them from an energy perspective. So I think he might need a little bit of luck there with them having extended matches and him cruising somewhat in the lead up to one of those matchups that he would need to win in all likelihood to win at Roland Garros.
But I get that as a sort of fair point. I think is the unfortunate situation for him is that a lot depends on where Sinner and Alcaraz are in terms of if he's running into them again in the semi-final. Then, if there was a Grand Slam where both of those two aren't there, holy moly, there's an opportunity.
Yeah. By the way, Vacherot now with 2 break points, not going away gracefully into the night. He's riding high. He's confident. He's battling in game number 2 to try and get back on serve here. An under-discussed thing is this nose widener, which has been a staple of American football since Jerry Rice was on the 49ers. And I guess Alcaraz was briefly wearing, but I think gave up. I wonder how much does he normally wear that nose widener thingy, or is this a new development?
I believe he does. I must admit, the only times I ever see Vacherot play outside of this week is when he gets his usual wild card into the Monte Carlo Masters, and he does always like to he likes to be a bit of a Nicholas Jarry wannabe with the nasal strip.
Djokovic has erased 1 break point, trying to fend off another here at 30-40 in an extended rally, which James, as you correctly, I think, pointed out, is exactly what he wants, just grinding down the Monegasque player.
You've got to be careful here, though, because there's grinding, but then there's also what he's done there, which is he's just allowed Vacherot to dictate that rally there, become the main aggressor, and at presto, Vacherot is back in this.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I did not see that coming, but then again, I saw literally nothing about Valentin Vacherot's semifinal run here coming. I will say also, James, with Monaco being this sort of standalone city-state, it has me thinking, what British city would be would you like to most see do a Monaco? Because in the U.S., I feel like New Orleans could be the closest thing that we could have to our own Monaco.
Right. Well, you've got to think of an area where rich people want to go live. You've got to think of an area that's happy to have no tax money. Maybe it's pretty hard because I've been to Monaco a couple of times because I've been to the Monte Carlo Masters on a couple of occasions, and I'm hoping to go next year again, which is
nice.
It's a brilliant tournament to go to. Like, it is a proper tennis fans event, really. It's but it's, I would say, something quite nice, maybe a little bit hilly. I could probably point to maybe a Brighton could be could become a bit of a Monaco, or thinking of maybe a little bit more down in the part of the world where I used to live, like a St Ives, that got really developed, or a Newquay. That could certainly go down that path.
Yeah. By the way, Vacherot looking very solid here. I mean, even with getting broken,
he loved that.
Yeah, and he's not just a big server. Djokovic is giving him a few too many easy opportunities by either leaving the ball short, an ill-conceived drop shot here and there. And I think you hit the nail on the head, right? There's a difference between grinding and just giving him too many opportunities. Right now, Djokovic is giving him too many opportunities, and kudos to Vacherot. He's taking advantage of them. Ooh, big
And
serve
great serve out wide.
All right, we might have a match on our hands. I thought this might be an in and out situation, but maybe we'll be here, enjoy a nice morning of tennis. Hey, who you got in the semis? You got Medi or you got Rinderknecht on the other semis?
I mean, I'd have to say Medi, but I could see a world. I can quite feasibly see a world where Rinderknecht does win.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, Medvedev, the fact that he managed to get the match with de Minaur sorted in straights was a necessity for him to actually probably to win that quarter, because it looked like he was going to be pretty cooked by if he did go to a third set. So it's kind of fortunate that de Minaur had a bit of one of the last service games to give Medvedev the ability to go on and win that match. But Rinderknecht playing unbelievably well. But Medvedev just seems to have turned the Asian swing, has really sort of changed his fortunes, really. A bit disappointed with his performance in Hangzhou, losing from, I think, having match points on his own serve against Yingbing Wu in the quarterfinals there. But then going on and getting to the semis in Beijing, getting to the semis here, potential chance to get to the final here. Really building up some points of momentum, potentially to try and stake a claim to being at least a relevant figure at the top of the game going into next year.
Absolutely. They just showed the graphic, by the way, of Novak Djokovic's forehand this tournament, and it's only 10% of forehands have landed what's considered in the middle third of the court. That is remarkable, even for the highest level of professional tennis. I mean, that level of placement and accuracy is unbelievable. I do want to go back to the major chase. You have to feel for the GOAT. He is, in my opinion, clearly head and shoulders above everybody else in the world except for two players. The problem is those two players are head and shoulders above him, maybe head and shoulders and some torso above him at this point. It is Sinner and Alcaraz's tour, but I don't consider Zverev to be as much of a threat as Djokovic at this point. It's like. No. In the power rankings, those two, it's Djokovic as a sort of standalone, especially at the majors. Then you got Zverev, and then maybe you've got the Fritz, Shelton, Draper crowd. And then you kind of have everybody else. What does that major chase breakdown look like for you as Djokovic is serving here at 1-2?
It's one of the big questions is going to, Djokovic almost, does exist as that third best player in the world as it currently stands. I mean, he has shown that, but then as you point out, we've had, the two main chasers, potentially maybe a third main chaser if Artifice can get himself fit. You've got potentially three players there that are going to be vying to try and muscle in the crowd of actually potentially maybe beating Djokovic first of all in a quarter somewhere, and then of course trying to see if one of either Draper, Shelton, or Feast can then knock a Sinner or an Alcaraz, beat them. Maybe first of all in final of a Masters event. That could be a good starting point. And then forward from that into the best of five format in the Grand Slams. Now, there are certainly if you look at the positives of where we think those players could potentially do that. With Shelton, we saw that brilliant performance in the quarterfinals at the French Open against Alcaraz. Really pushed Alcaraz a lot further than what many people were going to expect, especially on the clay surface. Draper, of course, had a really strong performance beating Alcaraz at the Indian Wells semi-final, and generally has shown that he, when he's fit, generally has shown to be potentially the third or fourth best player in the world. We've just been unfortunate that we haven't really seen him play Alcaraz. Well, he's seen him play Alcaraz a couple of times this year, but not to have played Sinner at all this year, which has been a bit of an annoyance because that'd be interesting to see, given how far Draper's developed, where would that contest and what would be the result if those two played each other, especially given that they're actually the best mates on tour as well. And then Artifice just had a really strong play season, looked as though he could have really pushed on to being a big contender, and the injuries just absolutely derailed him, which was so disappointing given that he was having a fantastic run at the French Open at the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely dominant service game there from Djokovic as well. Multiple unreturnables, an ace. Dan Davenport has entered the chat. Dan, welcome. For folks that are watching along, chime in with what time it is where you're at. It is 4:59 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States. And you might say, well,
I
that's
give you
a
your,
little.
I give you your credit, Zach. You know how early in the morning you are up for this. I know you're on babysitting duty, but it's still a big commitment.
Here's how I justify it. So, for a baby, the more words they hear earlier in their life, the better it is for their long-term development. So I tell myself, I'm actually not here talking about tennis. I'm setting my son up for success by using lots of words with you, James. So really, this has nothing to do with tennis. This is everything to do with me being an all-world parent. So, give me the award, people who give that award out for modern masculinity and dadhood. Ooh, did that hit?
I mean, take off the headphones. I can give a bit of an English vocabulary to your son. Get him having an English accent.
I do want him to have that nice transatlantic accent, like George Plimpton used to have back in the day. My dad was born in England. He grew up in Boston, so he does not have the British accent. But my grandmother was British. I'm a British citizen as well through my father. And so, if he had the accent, it wouldn't be total nonsense. It would be in some way part of his cultural heritage. The mangled Southern British accent would be challenging, I think, for a lot of folks, though. Although I don't have a super thick accent from where I'm from.
No, yeah. I mean, we could get some northern phrase. I could get some Northern England phrases in, and it could really go really outer worldy. With how that academic science. See, Dan's saying it's 10 a.m., so I think Dan's in the same time zone as me because it is 10 a.m. in the morning. At least the one joy of this, time of the year, at least from a European audience perspective, is that we can at least watch these matches in the morning, going into the early afternoon. I do feel for the Americans actually when it goes to certainly the Australian swing and into the and also the Asian swing, because it really is right slap bang in the middle of the night for you lot.
Well, so if you are an early morning person like I am, it actually works out pretty well. Australia is tough, right? Because there's always a good, if there's a good match that starts at 11 p.m. here, and there's a good match that starts at 5 a.m. here, or 3 a.m. here, it's really, you just got to pick. You cannot watch both and be functional the next day. That being said, again, with a small child, I think that I'll be doing a lot of commentary in Australia this year. So that'll be fun. That'll be right when hopefully he starts recognizing words a little bit more, as Vacherot is serving at 40-30 here to go up 3-2. Let's see what Djokovic does with the second serve. An up the middle return to start the point, extending the rally, moving the Monegasque player around.
Yeah, just moving him around at the moment. Just doing a bit better at the moment in these rallies, Djokovic. Will go for the drop here. Vacherot doesn't get to it. Good work there from Novak. Just changing it up a bit. Keep being the main instigator, being the proactive instead of reactive.
Is Djokovic going to the drop shot a little bit more than you might have normally expected? Because I think he's incorporating that into his game more, but it's still kind of like it's disorienting to see how much he's pulling the trigger.
Yeah, I mean the Monegasque is, he spends the majority of his season on the clay, so he's pretty attuned to baseline rallies. So I think Djokovic knows that using all elements of the court is how he's going to be able to, really trouble the Monegasque in this contest.
Yeah. Sports and politics, James. They're asking, how is Djokovic physically? He normally starts struggling around game 5. A little bit mean, a little bit funny, a little bit true, by the way. James, what would you say?
I think he's looking all right. He has lucked out a bit when it comes to the scheduling. He's been on the side of the draw, which has meant that he's had a day off all the way till this match, effectively. So if he was the only back-to-back days that he would ever need to do would be semi-final and final. So, especially with the best of 3 format, I think the last couple of matches he's played have been straight sets. Has at least enabled him to look a little bit more physically fit. Of course, the big question is that this is actually the earliest in the day that I think Djokovic has played this tournament. Generally, he's been like first or second on in the night session, where it's been slightly a bit more humid but slightly cooler temperature-wise. So it'd be interesting to see as the match continues that if he's able, how the physicality kicks on if it does get that far. It's also interesting that we've got El Massi, one of the tournament director for the Monte Carlo Masters, who's currently sat in Valentin's box. I don't know if she's thrown out especially for this match, or she was generally out there anyway as some sort of like Masters meetings or whatnot that all the big events have. But that's pretty interesting to know she's in the box there.
I would imagine they're chasing some pretty big sponsors, or using this as an excuse to see some great tennis, chase some big sponsors. Forgive me if you hear any baby noises in the background, James. Please let me know if that becomes a distraction, because another thing, you grab the little guy and give him the bottle. He is
That's okay.
He is awake-ish at the moment, which is honestly how I feel as I'm waiting for my coffee to fully kick in.
I would say I could understand, but I'm not a tea. Sorry, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker.
I avoided the stuff until I was 30, and then like I needed the boost. It was like a light switch flipped. Djokovic, I have a question for you. Djokovic's facial hair, it is never quite beard length, but it's always more than just merely stubble length. Like, how does he do that? Does he just have, like, he's got to have a special razor, or like somebody on his team's job must be to give him the perfect length stubble before every match. It's ridiculous. Like, there's, in real life, nobody can get it that perfect every time.
He will. I mean, I think he does. He does grow it out from point to point, doesn't he? So he probably gets all sorted at the start of the tournament where it's quite close to the face, and I think it's just the way his facial hair works, where the area around his mouth, where the goatee would be, almost that area is much thicker than around the sides of the face, and up to what would be the sideburns. So he's able to grow out really thickly around like the goatee, and then it just being enough on the side where he could probably leave it, and it still looks respectable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Zverev, where you can clearly see that Zverev's only really got the goatee area, and then basically, there's only little small patchy bits at the side, which, sometimes Zverev can make it look okay, but sometimes it can look really unkempt. Whereas Djokovic, it works quite well. And for whatever reason, we're now talking about beard styles on Talking Tennis. This is the content that you come to this channel for.
Welcome to Talking Beards. Yes. So Dan Davenport thinks that Monfils is going to retire at the end of the year. And boy, do I hope he's wrong, but think that he's right. James, do we have another season of Le Mans, or have we seen the last one? I think that he will retire after the French Open, by the way. So, or at least I hope we get at least that much longer.
That's sure. I think he'll go to, the thing is that he's better on indoor hard court. So I do think he'll hang on until Paris Masters 26.
Ooh, okay.
Because he'll want to at least be semi-competitive in the contest, and also next year there's a few more. He's got a few more French tournaments or new ones that will pop up on the calendar. I know he'll probably want to go back to Montpellier in February. He'll also want to. Play next year in October. There's the new indoor event taking place in Lyon. And I'm sure that's a city that he would love to go to, especially after it no longer has the clay event there anymore. So there's plenty of reasons why I could see Monfils, and also he's beloved around the world. He'll want to do the French Open, but also knowing that he won't want that to be his final tournament. He will probably want Paris Masters to be his final event.
Yeah.
Given the fact he's also a Parisian, if I'm not mistaken, like he is actually from Paris. Originally, and although Roland Garros is more of a national event, Paris will feel very city based.
Yeah, I think all that tracks. So Dan says that Zverev is too inconsistent, and that's why he struggles with major tournaments. I think he's too inconsistent between the ears. I mean, his strokes and technique are excellent. I don't think it's that he misses shots. I think it's that he gets tight. He's not willing to force the action. And ultimately has just taken too much damage. He's lost too many times. First to the big three, now to Alcaraz and Sinner. And I don't think that belief is there. I think the game structurally is there to get over the hump, but I just don't think that he's going to at this point. When things start to go the wrong way in a close match against one of these guys, he's been there so many times before, and it always goes for them. And at a certain point, you just don't get over that any longer. Djokovic serving at 40-15 to go up to 3-all. After the first game, I thought that we were going to be in and out of here in about 45 minutes, but now I'm thinking we might have ourselves a match on our hands. This is the fifth game.
Yeah, I think we could be locked in potentially for a first set tiebreaker with the way it's currently going.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how do you think the conditions are affecting the players? Do you think that favors Vacherot, or do you think that Djokovic is feeling good with the hot and humid day that it is in Shanghai?
Well, I don't. I mean, I think you'd see a bit of a positive for Vacherot just in case of the fact that he hasn't played too much this season on the main tour. I know he's been on the Challenger circuit a lot, but it will feel much more pressure coming into this event than Djokovic. But then also you have to factor in that Vacherot has played 3 more matches than Djokovic, of course, having to do the 2 qualifying rounds and also the first round. Whereas Djokovic came in straight at the second round stage after it's been his first tournament back since the US Open. So I would say, although we're probably going to see Djokovic will look as though he's having a cardiac arrest most of the times, like we're seeing here, and stretching out.
In fact, there it is already. Yeah,
he does all that, and then he is able to win 3-hour epics. He will be absolutely fine because Novak Djokovic is the king of making it look as though he's got problems when he actually doesn't really have any problems.
Indeed. I mean, look at him. He's stretching it out. If it was any other player, I think we'd start to say, oh, gosh, is he for sure going to be able to finish this match out? Yes, he for sure is going to be able to finish this match out. Yes, he is probably almost certainly going to win it. And he's going to look like he's about to die several times in the process. Sports and politics. Thank you so much for joining and jumping into the chat here. Would like you to rank them? Sports and politics. Which is better and why? As the Monegasque is now serving at 3-all. James, which do you like better, sports or politics?
As much as I like to get involved in political debates, sports, nothing beats the drama of live sport. The highs and lows of top athletes playing off against each other. I just come off the back of watching the Epic Ryder Cup a couple of weeks ago. Shame for you, unfortunately, Zach, but brilliant for us in Europe.
Heartbreak there,
That was pretty. Djokovic before that. He just didn't get the purchase off his feet there. Just trying to get himself sorted. He is looking a bit funny.
He definitely is,
and there is a bit of tape under the thigh, which probably suggests that he's probably going to break him in the next set. Now,
I want to see this replay of. It looks like he just got his feet tripped up there, and not that it was like a pull of anything. But certainly
you have to be careful because if you fall on a hard court, it can get cut yourself quite easily. He's fighting with the camera.
I mean, he's so old compared to the rest of the tour. It's a bit of a help I've fallen and I can't get up moment. I will say the nice thing about being American right now is we have perfect politics. I think famously, no notes, nothing bad going on. And so I think I'll rank politics because it's only good stuff happening here.
Hey, supposedly your leader has managed to solve peace in the Middle East in the span of a few weeks.
I know. Oh, God. Don't... the thing, so take all the politics. Obviously, I'm being a little silly about our politics. Take all of this stuff out of it. What happened over the last week with the Nobel Peace Prize push? It's like if a movie comes out in March of next year and everyone's like, "Oh, this should win an Oscar. This should win an Oscar." Like, well, no, that's not really how it works. Actually, the previous year, it's stuff that's already happened, guys. And so, everything there was so uniquely silly, and some might say stupid. But Vacherot is serving at 40 love here at 3-all. Dan Davenport, big.
By the way, Dan, I fully agree with you in terms of Rory McIlroy has to be a major contender for. We got this thing in the UK, Zach, called Sports Personality of the Year. Even though it's not actually based around personality, it's actually just who's would have been the best sportsman across the year for or woman for. And it's run by the BBC in December. Generally, something people like to talk about because we've had Andy Murray's won it, Mo Farah's won it, like really big British sports stars. Although I know Rory's Northern Irish, he technically would qualify. I don't know. He does though like to represent Ireland and be more and be more centered that way. So if he's happy for a nomination for the BBC Sports Personality of the Year is another matter. But if he was happy to be for the nominations, I think he's certainly, winning the Masters, being part of that Ryder Cup team that won away at Bethpage, he's certainly up there as a contender for that title.
So Djokovic now has the trainers out. I would imagine he will take the full amount of time here. We are 29 minutes into the match, so certainly he's not going to want to go 3, nor does he ever at this stage of his career. Seeking a little bit of treatment there. Looks like they're going to get him on the ground, and it looks like give him a good rub down. My favorite British cultural thing every December is the Big Fat Quiz of the Year. I watch it every single year. I try to mute my screen when I think that Jimmy Carr is going to laugh. I've never heard a laugh like that before, and I hope to never hear one like that again. But I do find him very, very funny, despite the confirmed tax fraud that he did a few years back. And they've always got great guests. Sometimes they'll throw a random American celebrity in who hasn't been prepped on what it is, who doesn't know what they're doing and just looks overwhelmed. That's always a fun one for me as somebody who's been watching since I think it was what were they called? Was it the Sexy Goths when it was Russell Brand and Noel Fielding in 2006 in the Big Fat Quiz of the Year?
Probably, yeah, probably. I mean, that's very naughty's coded in terms of those two comedians.
That was before Russell Brand had lost his mind, and before Noel Fielding was sanitized by doing Bake Off and was a bit edgier. I
tell you what, every couple of years or so, I always rewatch the TV show The Mighty Boosh. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Of course, yeah. Well, I shouldn't say of course. It's not. It's yes. I am familiar with The Mighty Boosh.
Mighty Boosh. Although a few of the jokes are a little bit risky now in 2025, especially the blackface. A couple of the times that they've done in there, it's still remarkably fun. Still remarkably funny, the spirit of jazz or something like that. But my favorite one was like Sainsbury's or something for this sort of shamans to go and get the supplies. That joke that still gets me every time. Whenever I hear that, and it is still quite the rough parts of it that's still quite funny.
There's a show with
very naughty's UK.
Oh yeah, there's a show with a frequent Noel Fielding collaborator called and starring Matt Berry called Hangmen. That is one of I think it's one series. He plays the last executioner in the UK, and he's from a long line of executioners. It's kind of like he's not royalty, but sort of that class that serves the royals. So he's every single episode is him just drinking in a private club, sitting around doing nothing, and occasionally botching an execution. And it's so weird and funny. I quite enjoy British comedy, and yes, it is 5:17 in the morning. I think that most of our audience is likely in the UK and not in the US, and so I feel like we can talk about that without really scaring any folks off.
Yeah, just by the way, everyone, Djokovic is currently having a medical timeout. He's got his shirt off. He's currently laid on the ground, and the physio is moving his body around in all sorts of ways here. He doesn't look like he's in a great state at this stage. It's interesting that we noted that he's got some strapping under his thigh, but he's also got some strapping on top of his shoulder as well, in terms of very heavy duty tape. So I think he'll continue, but it's going to be interesting to see how he works on from here.
Yeah, I mean,
just a quick interlude as to the thing why we should be talking about.
I guess,
but I'm glad going down these little rabbit holes. Matt Barry's fantastic as a comedic actor, from like the IT Crowd to the Toast of London, and the one.
Toast of London is a good one.
Yeah, and then the one that's based in the States at the moment, which is In the Shadows or something like. What's it called?
Yes.
What Happens in the Shadows or something like that, where he plays a vampire in some part of the New England area of the States.
Yeah, James, as the one with the British accent here, could you just tell me how Matt Berry would say Monegasque? Like what would that sound like, do you think?
Monegasque.
Monegasque. Hey, and Sin10PED says cheap viewers on streamboo.com remove the space at 7HGJILP7. Thank you so much.
How'd you get rid?
Our producer's on it, man. He's like,
oh, cool.
Djokovic looks terrible. He is the boy that cried wolf.
We do not condone going on to legal websites to watch stuff just in case we get taken down for trying to promote such a thing.
Oh, you're right. Of course. It is bad to do crime. Unless
our Twitter account, we don't need to lose our YouTube channel in the process.
Very bad to do crime unless there's no victims, like bank fraud, for example. But don't do it, especially if you're going to get caught.
There is no such thing as a victimless crime, Zach. There's no such thing
Ooh,
as a victimless crime.
okay. If there were to be a victimless crime, it's somebody who defrauds venture capital funds. That it's their job to catch that kind of stuff. They're paid very, very much to do that. And when they don't, if anything, not a crime. They just didn't do their jobs. As Djokovic now down love 15 on his serve. He doesn't look great out there. Is this the time that he's actually injured after appearing injured, or is this just another time where he's
Oh, that's not good. That is not good. That backhand was unbelievable. He's not happy with that.
Oh.
Smashes the ball into the backboard there.
He's going to get a penalty for that, is he not? That is at least got to be a warning.
Get bought. I mean, we got the I don't know. I've not heard we'd usually get a little. I know I'm listening to it on silence, but we should usually get a little silence as violation, ball abuse, or something. I don't think he's got that. Mainly because I think the ball still stayed in the court.
Let me ask you kind of a silly question. He looks bad. He looks like he might actually get hurt here. The way that he's missing some of these shots. So the chair umpire is wearing a cross shirt.
Thing as well. This is he's had a bye into the second round. He gets the best of 3 set matches, and he's had days off in between. If ever there was going to be a structure or a format which could enable him to do well, and for the body not to be an issue, you would feel it would be this one.
Well, on top of that, he's had such a weak draw. He hasn't played a single seeded player, has he?
No, not. He hasn't at all. I mean, it's as you say. I think he's looked shattered. I mean, he's just won the point, but he's really not in a great state here. I think that little statement he made about he's going to look horrific, and then he's got his fans going off there. I do like the Chinese fans for how creative they are making little posters.
Absolutely
fantastic.
It's pretty fun. If you're Vacherot, by the way, you simply cannot miss that shot. You need to keep the point going. Like he now needs to be the one to grind Djokovic down. I mean, the strategies have essentially flipped here in the past 7 games. I can't remember. Yeah, Sports and Politics said that Djokovic started struggling around game 5. He waited until game 7, which watching him play at this point is just its own form of suffering, because it's like every single friggin' match this happens. And he somehow finds a way. Let's see if he can find a way to will himself through visible.
Just getting a backhand exchange. All goes for the slice. Tries to switch it around the court. Is working a bit there. Djokovic is looking good. Oh, what a backhand from Vacherot! What a backhand. Djokovic.
I didn't know he had that. Hands. Jeez, I didn't know that Vacherot had that kind of weapon off that wing.
Yeah, I mean that was Medvedev-esque. Even with the same stroke.
I will say, I look at that backhand from Djokovic that led up to it, and it was short, without great pace, and without great spin. And we're just not used to seeing Novak Djokovic hit backhands like that. And so it goes to your earlier point. It's not that he's grinding; he's just giving the Monegasque player too many opportunities. By the way, at this point, if you've been taking a shot every time we say Monegasque, you are so far past the point of being able to drive, and you might need to seek medical treatment, because I think we're in double digits, and we're going to keep saying it because it's really fun to say Monegasque. On a break point here. Oh, big return.
Oh, that just lands in. Djokovic is still in this thing, but the ball. Look at the balls on not ball placement from Djokovic is just not landing deep enough in the court.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, the Monegasque is literally just. And there we go, backhand into the net, break. Vacherot gets the break and will be serving for the first set. Djokovic is hunched over, and he just looks, and he's limping now.
Would you say that he looks knackered? Is that correct? Did I use that correctly?
Yeah, he is absolutely knackered.
Is he going to be able to? I mean, I feel like I've done some versions with Djokovic.
I think if Vacherot serves us out, I think Djokovic has got questions to ask about if he can really do two more sets.
I think he also has questions about whether he wants to. I don't think that he cares particularly about winning another Shanghai Masters. He wants to set himself up to be maximally successful in Australia. I think he also probably wants he wants to cash a check for Saudi Arabia.
Bizarrely though, I do think he does actually care about trying to win this, because I think he has now shifted his goal slightly to to wanting to beat Federer with the number of main tour titles. He's currently on 100. Federer's on 103. Of course, the one that's at the top by far and away is Jimmy Connors at 109. But he managed to basically scam a load of tournaments that shouldn't have been main tour ones anyway back in the 80s.
Jimmy Connors, who grew up playing on public courts, which the United States has a rich history and tradition of, and the USTA is doing an absolute trash job of continuing with their convoluted, inefficient funding structure, rife with corruption and redundancies, as Vacherot is up 30-love to close out the set against the GOAT, the greatest tennis player of all time, Novak Djokovic, who is looking like a shell of himself these last couple of games here. I mean, if is he? I don't know that he's going to continue after this set, James.
I don't think he will either. I think Vacherot is going to probably serve this here.
I mean, this was a golden opportunity for him to get to 100. By the way,
he's not even moving.
Yeah, he's done. He's got to be done. What's he saying here?
Happen.
If he is as hurt as he looks, he should not continue. I know. I totally hear you. I think that's a great point that he wants to get to that 103 number, but he's simply not going to be able to win his next match or this one if he's as compromised as he looks. And so while if he
comes up against a Daniel Medvedev like this, it's going to be horrific.
Yeah. Even a Rinderneck.
Oh yeah, even a Rinderneck. But potentially we could be on for the cousins. The cousins rivalry.
It's funny, I have downloaded Twitter again for a few days of macro dosing horrible social media content and nice tennis content for the Talking Tennis community, and there's all this talk of the cousins final, and I kind of been rolling my eyes because in what world are they both gonna win against Medvedev and Djokovic? Well, wow. I guess I was being a bit of a cynic because we're one.
This is the match where you would say there's no chance for Vacherot here, really.
Totally.
And if he does that, like I said, there is a world I can see where Rinderknecht beats Medvedev. It is not beyond the realm of possibility at the moment. It is still on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As you say, if you were Daniel Medvedev right now, you'd be rubbing your hands in glee.
Especially this year for Medvedev. It's been while he's turning around.
1000 title could literally just involve you having to beat Rinderknecht and Vacherot.
Absolutely, James. My son is waking up here, so I'm going to mute myself and grab a bottle and probably get him on the stream. Let's see if he's got any thoughts. He's 3 weeks old. He's watched 2 tennis matches. He might have some insights.
Sounds like a plan. Trying to see, as it looks as though Djokovic is going to be going out onto the court. So he isn't throwing in the towel just yet. We've got qualifying for a soccer, but have we actually got the main draw for a soccer yet? I'm still having a look at the not just yet for those 2 tournaments. Wuhan, just to give everyone a bit of an update there, is currently 3-2 Coco Gauff. They go against Jasmine Paolini, but they are on serve. Because, of course, we're in a situation where they're near enough starting at the same time. Brilliant backhand cross court by Vacherot. Djokovic, again, like we say, just looks like an absolute shell. And as the little video, if anyone was here with us at the start, Vacherot could potentially more than double his career lifetime earnings if he gets this next set.
That's a pretty good 2 weeks, isn't it?
That's a phenomenal. I mean, that's going to be life changing for him. Not only at the moment is he ranked 92 is he on the live rankings ranked 92, which means that even if he did lose his match, which at the moment is looking quite unlikely, unless Djokovic ends up becoming the miracle again and basically being completely all right. But he's already going to get himself to a new career high 92. He could get himself a lot higher if he wins this set here.
Yep. James, I'm
which
gonna be
will
honest.
set him up for, which will set him up perfectly for next year. Meaning he's going to be in the main draw in Australia. If he can win this match, he could then get himself into a lot of main tour events in the build-up to Australia. He's unfortunately, unless a lot of the indoor tournaments in Europe give him wild cards, he's probably going to have to still do qualifying to get into them, because he's so low ranked that he's not even in contention at this stage.
But he's probably going to get main draw in all 4 majors, right? And that's huge. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. If I could double my career earnings in 2 weeks, I would like to do that, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah,
good for him. Hey, this is the little man. This is Baby Archie. Baby Archie, say hello to the soccer tennis community.
Oh, he is small, isn't he?
Dude, they come out so little. I don't think people know how freaky looking babies are when they're born too. They're covered in like this weird stuff. He looked like an alien for like 5 minutes. They clean him up, and now he looks like a normal little baby. But the joys of childbirth are wild. All right, is that 30 all? We are.
And we just have to be a part of the sex that just has to, watch it happen almost most of the time.
Oh, childbirth and reproduction, it's a little bit like tennis governing bodies in that everything about it is painfully unfair, particularly for one side of things. I mean, on my end, I was like just standing around, like holding a leg, and my wife had to actually birth a child. As Djokovic serving 40-30, he looks so compromised. We've just seen him do this so many times, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I just wonder if it is prudent for him to continue if he's even half as injured as he appears based on his movements, mannerisms, and reactions. Now, to your point earlier, the crowd, if there's any crowd at this stage of the tour that can will him to a win, it's this one.
Yeah,
they are into it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. They've got their fun little signs. They're giving him some wind beneath his sails. But when you're compromised physically, you're compromised physically.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, but Vacherot just gets it over. I mean, Vacherot's just doing all he can at the moment. I mean, the big thing for Vacherot right now is that he's potentially, a few points away from what would be the biggest win of his career.
Yeah.
And to say that he could then say he beat Novak Djokovic at the the semis of a Masters 1000 event, he'll tell that to his not to his doctors, just to his grandkids, but his great grandkids and his great grandkids. He'd try and stay alive that long so he could tell that story.
Will this be the biggest moment in Monaco sport history? I know they've got a soccer team, but
oh yeah. Well, Charles Leclerc did win the Monaco Grand Prix. That was pretty big for them. Monaco, AFC Monaco did win the French league. They also did win the Champions League one year as well. AS Monaco, and that was pretty huge. I would probably say if Vacherot won, I would say he'd have to win a Grand Slam for it to be the biggest thing ever of a Monegasquian.
Yeah, that's fair. As he's got a break point. Oh gosh, up a set. Now he's got a break point on Djokovic. So Sports and Politics is funny. Sports and Politics says Vacherot winning the first set was not on my bingo card. Show me somebody that had it on their bingo card, and I'll show you a liar or somebody who lives in Monaco and is related to the guy, because nobody had this on their bingo. Literally nobody.
I think literally anyone in Monegasque and after Rinderknecht were the only ones that probably thought that Vacherot could have done anything here.
I don't think you and Rinderknecht had it. I mean, maybe he's that good.
Great second serve from Djokovic there. That was the only way he was going to be able to. He was obviously just going to go hit big now. He just decided it's go big or go home on every single serve. It's the only way he probably thinks he can win this match now.
If he's going to lose, he's going to go out swinging. Got to respect that play style. Got to shorten the points so he doesn't exacerbate whatever it is that appears to be ailing him there. Easier said than done, though, as Djokovic serves at deuce in a now 5-minute long game to start the second set. He's just got to generate free points on the serve to have a shot here.
Yeah, he's going to have to become a serve bot.
Yep.
Channel his inner Riley Opelka.
Make the match as unpleasant as a Riley Opelka match, which is very difficult to do. I watch Riley Opelka when I want to be in a bad mood, have a bad time.
I will say something. I was quite pleased with just because it's not been a great season for him, but for Mapeshi Perricard to have a good run here get into what was it, the fourth round quarters.
Yeah.
Getting a few good wins, beating Taylor Fritz. I mean, it was good to see, because especially he's got a lot of points to defend coming up. With the title in Basel and a good run in Paris that he had.
Have you ever watched him play in person? By the way,
no, I haven't, but I did. But I did see him practice once, because I was in. It was bizarre because I went to Eastbourne during the qualifying days as Vacherot has. Oh no, nearly. Djokovic gets that back. Where does it go? Land in. Vacherot goes across court. Djokovic just about gets it back. Vacherot goes across court again. Oh, jeez, he went a bit passive there. Djokovic is on the floor. He cannot walk now.
What a defensive point, though. I mean, as a compromised player, that was unbelievable. And I mean, a huge point that arguably has kept him in the match. I mean, that down a set and a break against Vacherot, who's been serving unbelievably, that could have been it if he didn't win that point. Kudos, Djokovic.
Yeah, because there was a part there where the court was wide open and Vacherot went for a backhand cross court. And Djokovic somehow got it back, got to it, and got it back, and that would have been it. But he's just struggling to walk at the moment, Djokovic. But I was saying, GMP. I was at Eastbourne during the qualifying day, and I was watching GMP practice on the practice courts, and it is a monster serve, and he is huge
and needed, very much needed. I saw him play in Winston-Salem, a match as well as a practice session, and I could not believe how effortlessly he served 140. Simultaneously, could not believe that a professional tennis player had that backhand. It is, I mean, it makes Berrettini's backhand look like Berrettini's forehand. It was just like, I mean, it was an adventure every time he hit one. Like, he didn't know where it was going. We didn't know where it was going. I don't know. He should really think about putting a second hand on the racket, I think.
Yeah. And also, what's interesting is
that's such a lost opportunity for Djokovic there.
Yeah, Djokovic
guessed right.
Got himself. I mean, actually, for Vacherot, this is probably quite beneficial to extend this service game with Djokovic as long as possible. Yeah. See if he can get more. Even if he doesn't win this service game, at least knackers Djokovic even more.
Every service game that he makes Djokovic work is a success, and if he gets a break, even better. But yeah, I mean, every minute that he's on the court, it's Vacherot's chance to win and go up, which is so different than the Djokovic of old, of even just a couple of seasons ago. It was the opposite. It was the longer he was on the court, it was like he was stronger and stronger and stronger.
Just goes to try and hit that one out there, Vacherot. But I was saying, I think it's the same with GMP's backhand. It's something I think the rest of the tour picked up on. Actually, is a lot.
Yep.
When I remember the Basel run, players just didn't know where to return the ball when they could return the ball of GMP's on the service games. Whereas now you see them target his backhand so much, they know that's where they're going to get the mistakes from,
and appropriately so. So in baseball, they talk about, the true outcome style, which is strikeout, walk, home run. GMP's backhand, the true outcomes backhand, it is error or winner, and essentially nothing in between. And it's mostly error, seemingly, because Djokovic has a second serve to close out this 9-minute long game to start set number 2. Oh, let's see if you can put it away here. Wow. That was a bold and risky approach. Yeah, I mean, seeing the Chinese fans waving the Serbian flag is such a treat. It's just loving the guy. This is great. That's great.
And he sticks his head in a bucket of water.
Is this a heat thing? Is it like I feel like I can never tell what it is exactly that's ailing him.
I think the heat is an issue. Hey Google, how hot is it in Shanghai at the moment?
I'm gonna guess 91 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius.
Oh, don't give it to me in funny. What is it?
Characters?
Numbers. Metrics. That's the word I'm trying to find.
Is it Fahrenheit?
It's saying at the moment on my weather app that it's currently 31 degrees.
Ooh.
At the moment with a humidity of nearly 60%.
Okay. That's like
it is unbelievable. I mean, the worst thing actually is that they really got hit in the middle of a heat wave in Shanghai this week.
Yeah.
Next week it actually drops down to potentially the mid-20s.
Is it normally this hot in mid-October in Shanghai? Because I just didn't know. I just didn't know it was hot like that.
I know it's a hot place because there, and it's obviously got weather that means that they can do outdoor tournaments in October. But yeah, I did not think it was this hot for this long.
Oh gosh, so Djokovic is very lucky to get that point because that was a weak return. I mean, of course you want to start the point, especially against a big server, but that is just not the return that we are used to from the legendary Serbian player. Yo, how about that calf vein going on Vacherot? That dude is shredded. You don't see a vein like that in the leg very often.
He's got this sort of like ring around his knee as well. I know a few players have one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite understand how those braces work, and I wonder if it's more of a placebo thing than anything. But if it works, it works. If something works, I generally don't ask questions. I don't know about you.
No, I agree. Well, and then a bad backhand from Djokovic, and that means that Vacherot has 2 game points on his serve. Hey, Noah, good to see you talking in the chat. Who do you think would win in a slow hardcourt match? 2010 Rafa or 2015 Novak? Well, it has to go Novak 2015. I mean, that was one of the best seasons I think we've ever seen from a tennis player, or one of the best.
James, let me ask you a similar question. Exact same 2 player comps against on the fastest clay court ever.
Okay. Well, what both those 2 playing on like Madrid? On a clay, you've always got to go Rafa. 2010 Rafa, absolutely on the clay. On a hard court though, well, even if it's a slow hard court, you go Novak.
What about slow grass court?
There's no such thing.
What about carpet? Let's just get increasingly weird with the surfaces. What about on an asphalt court?
Then Novak. It would be Novak.
What if it was made of rubber? Ooh, I think you got to go to Nadal made of rubber because of the spin, right?
Yeah, because the ball would bounce so high on rubber, wouldn't it? Like, would you even be able to play it? Would it be unplayable?
Thank you for indulging me in this ridiculous hypothetical.
It would just shoot up into the ceiling or halfway across the county.
I would like to see GMP play on a rubber court against Riley Opelka. That would be legit just safety hazards for the fans. They'd be getting tagged with surf bouncing everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's 15 out.
That reminds me of that. There was that Houston final a couple of years ago where it was Opelka versus Isner, and I felt so sorry for the fans in that audience. Like, is that really the final you're going to watch? You're going to spend huge amounts of money to watch.
That's just a bad day on the court. Splintly, 2015 Novak by a mile. I don't want to say that I think that Roger Federer was essentially a fraud, but I think that his peak level comes from nowhere.
Federer was a fraud.
Yeah, I think his peak level is just not comparable to Rafa or Djokovic. And I think that he was able to rack up a bunch of majors against weaker competition. And then his primary rivals, as they grew into their own, like he couldn't hang anymore. And then, part of it was bad timing because he got older too. But I don't actually think that he's in this. I mean, I think the big 3 is actually the big 2, despite what the final stats say. And I know it's a deeply unpopular opinion because people are like, oh, well, Federer played it the right way. And that's because there's this weird anti-Eastern European bias against Djokovic. And so they inflate Federer and his accomplishments because he's Swiss. But I don't really have any strong opinions on the matter.
They were still all beating each other for long stretches on different surfaces.
Yes, but when you look at the record after a certain point, it does get a bit, and not one-sided, it's two-sided because both Djokovic and Rafa were consistently getting the wins. And that's not to say that he never was winning. He certainly was, but he was not on level with them after a certain point in his career.
He did have that renaissance in the late teens in 2018 and 2019,
Yeah.
2017, 2018.
Yeah, I guess I saw him
winning the 2 Australian Opens and Wimbledon. 2017 it would have been then. Yeah, 2017 to 2018.
I guess one of the great what ifs though is if he had switched to a larger frame a little bit sooner, and that might have changed things, right? He just, I think with the 93-inch frame that he just played with far beyond when anybody else was doing that, and we still see stuff like that today with Wawrinka. I forget what the swing weight on his racket is, but it's some outrageous number. And I get it when you've got something that works for you, making a change, a meaningful equipment change, is such a risk. But I think it really, really held him back there. Sorry, no, yeah, I know that's an outrageous take. I've never been a Federer guy. I've never cared for when people talk about how beautiful his game is. That is to me not relevant to really anything. I don't care that he doesn't look like he sweats. I don't care that he is emotionless on the court. In fact, I dislike those things about him. I want somebody who looks like they're working. This whole I'm trying, but I'm not actually trying thing is such a elite thing to do. And it makes me less inclined to root for him versus Djokovic and Nadal. They want it with their everything and they show it and their play reflects that. And I don't think that Federer ever did.
Oh yeah, that's a fair thing to want to go for. I mean, I was a Murray guy anyway for all that time period. So I'm neutral on all three of them.
Well, speaking of somebody who clearly wants it and gives it their all, maybe even to their detriment, Murray certainly earned every tennis fan's respect with his effort and his ability to just battle and grind out there. I did always have a soft spot for Murray as well.
Yeah, it was always fun to watch Murray as much as I could. Certainly in his prime, I kind of wish as somebody that actually became like a proper tennis watcher in the late 20s. Because of late 2020s, I didn't get to see Murray too much in his actual prime. In a lot of the tournaments around the world, but at least the Wimbledons I watched a lot of the Australian Open finals that he played because they were on free to air TV 10 odd years ago, but it was the Australian Open semis and finals. It was still great to see watching him play and compete with all these top players as much as he could do.
How is Djokovic hanging in there this way? How? Why?
Because he's the greatest player of all time, and he has the ability to find ways of winning when he shouldn't, when most players wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he's currently got his face shoved in an ice pack at the moment. Oh no, it's in his gloves, isn't it? He's bought these gloves from sort of with some sort of dodgy market where he's going to keep his hands cool.
This is, gosh, how much medical time is he going to get here if this thing goes 3 between now and the end of the match?
Vacherot he's taking his shirt off and has run off.
I mean, great news for Djokovic if Vacherot has to go take a poop. If he takes a long poop, that's the best single thing that could happen to Novak Djokovic right now. Get a little extra medical time and blame it on his opponent. Here's to hoping that Vacherot had a big dinner. It's crazy that they're not allowed to say they're going to take a poop on the bathroom break. Also, okay, so
this is quite interesting. Can you get more than one medical timeout in a match?
I guess so. Well, so he took the first one in the first set. So do you get one per set? Yeah. Is that how it works? It's a bit early to be taking it.
Or is it the fact that is it potentially a new injury? But that's the second. Yeah, that's the second medical timeout he's had this match. I only thought you'd only allow one per match.
It seems like a lot of these rules
are much more in the bucket of water again. He's doing his absolute damnedest to keep himself cool.
It just seems like these are very vibe-based rules, and maybe they should codify them a bit more so there's some certainty around these things. Because and also there is more leeway extended to, let's just say, the greatest tennis player of all time than there might be to Arthur Rinoneš in the other semi.
Yeah, yeah. If Valentin Vacherot, for God's sake, I'll butcher the pronunciation again. If Valentin tried to play this sort of trick, I think the umpire would go no. But it's Djokovic who goes, okay.
Yep. Hey, question for you. This maybe is a silly one. So the chair umpire is wearing Lacoste. Djokovic is sponsored by Lacoste. Is that not a conflict of interest?
Ooh.
So because if you're Lacoste, obviously you want the player wearing your clothing to do better. Clearly, the chair umpire is benefiting from that company.
Oh, oh no, he suddenly put him back. Why did you go back to him? He butchered that
Djokovic
one
was
back.
lucky to steal that point. My goodness.
Vacherot, what? I mean, look, the backhand up the line was open. Djokovic was never going to run for it.
That was very, very lucky for. I mean, that was a terrible drop shot attempt. That was a club level drop.
My God, that is horrific.
Yeah, you can go to any set of public courts around the world and see a drop shot like that today, in fact.
Oh, I mean, potentially could Djokovic break here? That's a really cool kid eating some crisps next to that is an aesthetic. Backwards cat eating crisps, bottle of expensive champagne right next to him. I mean that's.
It's so important to teach the youngsters to drink responsibly. You know, get the kid a little sippy cup of Moët. What's the big deal?
The first drink you're going to have is probably one of the most expensive champagne manufacturers in the world, Moët.
I think it's going to be about, I don't know, never until this youngster right here has a glass of Moët, but at least 25 years. Because you can't start at that. You got to work your way into it. You got to work your way.
I mean, it ruins. That is ruining. That's like your first ever tennis match being that Sinner Alcaraz one from the French Open. You're just never going to be able to see other tennis matches the same.
Can I tell you my first ever match abroad? As Djokovic has a real opportunity here. Ooh, did he get it back? Did he get the back? Let's get to this point.
When you say match abroad, is that you actually physically at the place or watching a match taking place in another country?
This is an outrageous point. Oh my goodness! Wow!
Vacherot. I mean, Djokovic is. This is the problem, is that it really is distracting now. Certainly for us as watchers, every single good point, and we want to just enjoy the fact it's a good point, and then you just have the next image being Djokovic hobbled over his hands. Is he okay? Is he going to stop now? It's really disconcerting. You probably noticed us in this stream here, people that are watching, that it's disconcerting for us to try and.
So I believe it was Mario Andrich defeating Roger Federer at Wimbledon in 2002. Which was the last time before he went on a run, obviously one of the greatest runs of all time there. And then that same tournament, we queued out. We stayed in a little tent in the queue to get tickets, and also saw, I believe it was Greg Ruzetsky defeat Andy Roddick, and then I think it might have been Tim Henman beat Andre Agassi. But I know two Americans lost to a British and a half player. You know, Greg Ruzetsky was born in Canada, but obviously played for the UK. So, you know, we'll give it to 30-all. Kudos. Wow. Big points from this player.
I do love Greg. I mean, as much as he can say some really weird stuff, Greg, he is brilliant. It's a shame he's not on we don't see him too much on TV these days, because he was part of but when the ATP rights were and the WTA rights were with Amazon Prime, he was a mainstay with them, but he isn't with the Sky lot. So we don't see him nearly as much, but it's great when you have Greg Ruzetsky on.
Okay, let's see if Djokovic can generate a break point here. He's in the driver's seat so far.
In the psyche and the understanding of the British sporting public, Ruzetsky gets forgotten about a lot. Many people know about Tim Henman and know about the multiple semi-finals at Wimbledon and all the others and whatnot, and people know who Tim Henman is, but not many people actually know who Greg Ruzetsky is. But he was British when he got to the top five in the world, and when he got to the final of the US Open. He actually had a comparable career. I mean, he basically achieved the same number of things that Tim did. But
the difference being Henman
people remember Tim Henman mainly because probably Wimbledon constantly getting to semis of that tournament.
He had three, right? Was it three semis for him? Four. Yeah, so Vacherot, by the way, unbelievable point there. A real kind of tennis scramble point. Djokovic, again, going to the drop shot, having mixed success with it. That's a huge hold by the Monegasque player. From down love 30. Djokovic had a couple opportunities in points after being up love 30 in that game. He's got to be kicking himself. He's going to be hard pressed to get a better opportunity than that to break. Obviously, he's going to continue to battle and see if he can generate some more. But that was a real loss on the part of Djokovic to not find a way to put out some more pressure and convert there. I will be in the next few games taking a brief break. There is a full diaper in my hand. Now Archie is still enjoying this bottle, but I'm aware that other stuff's going on.
Cool. No worries. Hopefully by the time you come back, there still will be a match that's happening.
I think there will be. Hey, you think we're going 3 here?
We could be. I could see Djokovic potentially trying to. Vacherot hasn't really, gone in for the kill just yet.
Yeah.
And Djokovic is, at least at the moment, is finding a way just to get through his own service games.
He is. I mean, every game is a grind, seemingly for both of them now. Djokovic, he's gonna dunk his head in that water.
Yeah, I mean, great serve there, left 30 up.
Oh, and I missed this earlier. Dave points out that Benjamin Cumberbatch, aka Benedict Cumberbatch, has a new movie coming out. And if we're talking British actors who have a new project, the new season of Slow Horses is out. Gary Oldman, like Benedict Cumberbatch, very serious actor, very good. Really enjoy that show if you are familiar with Slow Horses.
I haven't watched it. I don't have Apple TV, but I have heard it is good.
It is very, very good. The actor that plays River Cartwright was also in a miniseries called The Gold that has Hugh Bonneville as well, and Dominic Cooper too. That is probably the best miniseries I've watched in the past half decade or so. 10 out of 10 about the Brinks Mat heist in the 80s. If you're looking for something to watch, check it out.
Yeah, that is brilliant, that TV show. I recently watched a documentary, because I watched both seasons of The Gold, but I recently watched a documentary on the killing of Joel Palmer, who was a big figure in the story of the Brinks Mat gold. Although he didn't steal it himself, there were, it was a lot of evidence, although he didn't never got convicted, that he was the one that smelted it down to sell it clean.
Yeah. So the second season has not come out stateside yet, and this is like one of those things that drives me nuts about streaming. You actually cannot get the first season states. Yeah, so you can't buy it on Amazon Prime, you can't buy it on Apple TV, you can't stream it anywhere, because they're now showing the first season of The Gold on PBS, I believe, and so you're kind of essentially locked up because they're trying to build the hype for the second season. The first season didn't really take off here, but they recognize it's an awesome show, and so they're making it inaccessible to try and get people to watch the first season. It's very frustrating as somebody that absolutely loves.
I watched the second season months ago.
Oh, streaming wars. Lexi, welcome to the chat as Djokovic is serving at 40-15 and looks like he has just hit to go up 3-2 in the second set in Shanghai. Djokovic does not look like he's at 100%, but he just no longer does after, as Sports and Politics pointed out, about the fifth game of matches these days.
Wow, I cannot believe you've not got access to the second season of Gold.
And the thing, I'm willing to pay for the second season. I really like to watch it. So Lexi, tell us what you think.
The second season is just as good as the first, by the way. I will say that. Even maybe a little bit better. Well, it was phenomenal.
In the States, we view so much through so much of tension and problems in our country through a race-based lens, and that show is almost exclusively class-based. And I think that they really get into the intersection of money and class and crime and opportunity in a way that was pretty interesting and felt very fresh and honest. And we just really don't have a ton of content like that in the U.S. at the moment. Because all of our media is controlled by corporate overlords and oligarchs. Larry Ellison, the world's third richest man, is now purchasing huge chunks of the media in this country. Obviously, Jeff Bezos owns one of the papers of record. It's a billionaire owns the LA Times. Our media is essentially entirely captured at this point, and so we really have limited opportunities to see American content like that. It's reflected in our pop culture. A band like Kneecap would not break through in the U.S. At this point because of our media works.
No,
although a bit controversial, Naughty Boys those two.
Now, as much as I'm not into the rap music, but I know Kneecap. I do feel like the way they've been prosecuted by members of parts of the British state has been a bit unjust, really. It's one idiot accidentally holding up a flag at a rally, not knowing really what it was. It's not constitutes them thinking that they're international terrorist organisations. But we've got an issue with the UK with a group that all we've been told about is that they spray painted a few military planes. Are meant to be considered as dangerous as Al Qaeda. It seems a bit extreme.
Yeah. I guess the question is, do you think that is as unfair as Djokovic getting a second medical timeout already, as we're only halfway through the second set?
It's close. I can see the merits on both sides of that argument.
How is that segue? How is that segue back to tennis? I think that Djokovic is going to get a third one here, although, as he does in his frustrating and uniquely Novak way, he seems to be getting stronger again, and he seems to be playing stronger, despite looking physically not 100%. It's just so tough to tell with him. Is it a mind game between him and himself? Is it a mind game between him and his opponent? Is he really just battling through it, or all of the above? And I don't know that anybody.
I think he could be battling through it. Do you know what? I'm going to make a silly prediction here. I think he's going to break him here.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we,
or at least be competitive enough to maybe break him, because Djokovic just seems like he's settled down a bit here. Maybe the window that Vacherot had has maybe gone.
Maybe
in the set.
Noah and Lexi both seem to either have liked or disliked, but certainly my take on Federer earlier has gotten them going. Lexi and Noah would love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why not? Let's have a conversation in the chat. We love talking tennis on this channel. As Djokovic gets that point, and now it's 15-30. I mean, this is the second game in a row where he's put real pressure on Vacherot's serve. He's doing what he needs to do to get back in this match on his return, and getting an easy enough hold as well. Gotten easy enough holds as well. Not easy, but easy enough.
We are now going into the time of the day where this is the time of the day where Djokovic has been used to playing his tennis matches.
Yeah. Let's also just point out that Vacherot, while younger here, has played a lot of tennis. And so while Djokovic is the one who looks physically impaired, Vacherot at any moment could, what a volley.
Djokovic will probably kick himself for not putting enough direction on that shot, not getting a little bit more angle.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, here, if you got, it just wasn't, just floated too centrally, that ball there.
Not enough angle, not enough spin, not low enough, not enough pace, just generally a weak attempt. Vacherot is 10 for 12 at the net, and Djokovic is only 1 for 6. I don't know that I can remember ever seeing Djokovic be 1 for 6 coming into the net on any service in any tournament at any point in the past 20 years. Do you?
But the thing I'm really pleased about at the moment is that it's looking more competitive now. Which is it's not looking as though we're just watching somebody who's currently in a hospital trying to play tennis. It's actually got some degree of competitiveness.
The level here actually has been pretty good. I mean, Djokovic has a few moments where he sprayed it, but Vacherot came to play, and we've had some great points, some great defense, a few very tasty winners across the board, some dropper attempts. Like, this is Vacherot can play. This is a surprising result, but him being able to compete at a high level here is not a fluke. I think that once he gets in the top 100,
as much as I said that I think he could get the break here, he has managed to hold serve here, Vacherot, to make it 3-all.
I think that he might be able to stick in the top 100 for a few years. I think that this is not going to be just a one-time out of nowhere thing. I don't think he's going to win a major or anything, but he's going to get some wins and some main draws.
I mean, I think we always have to be careful how we predict, because how much of this is just one player absolutely purple patching their way for an entire tournament to get to the latter stages. Because it's key to note that the last tournament he played was the challenger at outdoor challenger at Saint-Tropez a couple of weeks ago in France. And he lost that to his first round match to somebody who I've never heard of before. So there are levels and there are swings in levels, and Vacherot may end up going to a tournament next week or the week after, or whenever he next plays, and lose his first round. He's unfortunately in a bit of a purgatory situation when it comes to what tournaments he can play between now and the end of the season, because he's going to be okay. He can still play challengers because he's not going to be in the top 50, which stops him from playing challengers, but he's not going to be on the entry list for a lot of these indoor main tour events where he would probably want to be to really build up his resilience on the main tour, and that could cause a problem. What a dropper from Djokovic, though.
Absolutely. James, question for you though: will he get preferred? I mean, he will get seeding though in the qualifiers for some of those, right? And so he will have in theory, I believe, a slightly better shot of getting into those main draws. And then if he can make one more run, you could see how he might get into one or two of them. Is that correct?
The moment, the problem is he's not even entered any of them.
Yeah,
he's not even entered the qualifying for any of them. He's so just to give everyone a bit of a clue of what his rest of his season looks like. He's got Zhu Hao on the 20th of October as a direct acceptance, and he's got Seoul on the 24th, 27th of October. So he's not down even in qualifying, because I would be told otherwise. He's not down even in qualifying for any main tour events, because of course he didn't expect to even be thinking about that. He will be solely reliant now between now and the end of the season on wildcards to get into main tour events.
Wow. Do you want to hear an outrageous take?
Go on.
If he wins this match, he is equally as much of a king as Tsitsipas for entry into the Six Kings. Sir, I know that's obviously not going to happen.
I think he would have to win the tournament. Let's not forget Tsitsipas has at least won 2 Masters 1000 titles. Three Masters 1000 titles.
When was the last one?
He's always won to come at Monte Carlo.
Is he? So Tsitsipas is a Monte Carlo resident now, yeah, or is he?
Yeah, I think he does live. He does live in Monaco. Yeah. It's
I think if I was a pro athlete,
he's won 3 Masters 1000 titles, and all 3 Masters 1000 titles to come in Monaco.
I think that Monaco would be a really nice place to live if you were a rich professional athlete. That is the least interesting take that I think I've ever given. It's like, yeah, obviously that's why they all do it. Djokovic up 40-15. He's getting.
Well, we know why they live there. Part of it is it's a good location in terms of a base in Europe to be able to go to a lot of tournaments for, but then also tax exemptions that you get that they'll be able to get on their sponsorship earnings are quite big, and then the fact that a lot of players, it's a bit like if anyone knows in golf, Jupiter in Florida is a bit of a nexus of
that's right.
Of golfers that live down there, whereas for tennis players it tends to be Monte Carlo because they know that they can all practice with each other at the country club.
No state income tax in Florida as well. And while I would not want to live in Florida again, I did live there briefly. That was nice. That being said, you see some of the roads, you can tell there's no state income tax at times. And that's before getting into schools. Although I don't think those players are sending their kids to public schools, so that impacts them less. Djokovic serving at 40-30 here, trying to go up 4-3.
And he does so. So. I mean, we're just holding serve at the moment.
But each of them, it's a lot of 40-30s. Both feeling a little bit of pressure, but not getting crushed on their serve. I'm actually going to use this as a moment to change a little guy, and so I will be back in 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the state of things, if you know what I mean.
Cool. You head off. I'll cover the fort from here.
Thank you.
And we just, as we say, we've got Djokovic here, just toweling his head, just sticking his head in the bucket of water again, in the ice bucket, to try and keep himself cool. Well, like we say, it's 4-3 at the moment. Although Djokovic physically looks very compromised, he's still not being broken, and he's still being competitive. So there is still a chance here that Djokovic could sneak a break. A break on the Vacherot serve, or at least maybe able to do something on the tiebreaker. This match is nowhere near over, and for the fans in Shanghai, they've got the conclusion of this match, and then they've also got the another match coming up. So it's looking all right for them in terms of a good evening's worth of entertainment. Somebody's got a Vacherot mask that they've been able to print off quite quickly. 2 of them with the Monegasque flag that they are waving to support their man. Just to give everyone a score update over in Wuhan. So it is currently Coco Gauff took the first set against Jasmine Paolini 6-4, and it is currently 2 games apiece. 2 games apiece in the second set there, and so plenty of tennis still to go. Plenty of good tennis, even this late in the morning between these players. So let's see how the rest of this set goes on from here. What I'll do now is I'll just do a bit of a talk through of each point, just whilst Zach is away, and then we can continue the bizarre conversations that we end up somehow going into, which I'm very happy to do so. Just having a look at some of the challenges, because there's a few players that I'm keeping an eye on. Well, Brian Peniston is through to the final in her Sonos. That's excellent to see, Ryan. So Vacherot here, ball in the air, goes cross court, perfectly placed, 15 love already. Quick point there. Just what he'll need at the moment. He'll have a bit of pressure on him, knowing that he can't really afford to drop serve, because that may end up being pretty much a set over if he does get his serve broken at this stage. Just waiting for everyone to be ready. Goes cross court again, just goes slightly long. So second serve here. Ball in the air. Goes in the middle. Djokovic gets a good return on it. Backhand to backhand exchange. Cross court taking place. Now to a forehand. Backhand at the line from Vacherot. Brilliant backhand at the line by Vacherot. So that makes it love, or makes it 30 love. Looking like a good start to his service game here. Obviously determined to get the balls down the other end of the court as quickly as possible, and asking Djokovic the serving question again. Yeah, just a phenomenal backhand there. I mean, for a big man that has a good serve, does have other elements to his game as well that got him to this stage of the competition. Okay, ball in the air, goes cross court. Djokovic can get something onto it, but not enough proper connection. 40 love, very quick service game taking place at the moment. Incredibly quick service game. Okay, going for the ball bounce. Try to go at the tee, just goes slightly wide of the tee mark. So second serve. Into the net. Luckily, he's got a couple more game points, so it's nothing of too major concern. I shall get some water on myself. Ball in the air, goes cross court, forehand by Djokovic, just floats it back, up the line by Vacherot, backhand by Djokovic, forehand by Vacherot, goes for the lob, just goes slightly wide there by Djokovic, and it is 4 games apiece. 4 games apiece. We're really at the business end of the set here. Any small mistake from any of these ones, and it could either be a third set, or Vacherot could be booking his place in his first ever main tour final. Wow, that was quick. Zach.
James, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Changing diapers is not that challenging. And the other nice thing is you get a lot of reps very quickly when you become a parent.
Okay.
The amount of diapers I've changed in 3 weeks, I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but I mean, these kids, they go through like 12 diapers a day, by the way. So like you're just getting constant practice. And so, I'll spare you the details, but my hands are sanitized and I'm back.
Cool. Well, you were just as quick as that service game for Vacherot.
That's such a good transition. Sorry, I don't think it ruins a good transition when somebody goes, "Oh, that's a good transition," but that's a really good transition. Just like Novak Djokovic has transitioned back into this match with the help of some medical timeouts.
Indeed, and at the moment, Vacherot here obviously feels as though this would be his opportunity to potentially try and get a break. Oh, kids fall over. Is the kid okay? I think so.
Who's kid? My kid?
Yeah, one of the ball kids just fell over to try and go get the
Oh
ball.
my god, man! I thought you meant like my kid fell out of the crib in the background. It's like, whoa, how do you do that?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's something we do not want to happen. That is that is a bad thing if that happens.
Well, I guess the only thing I'd say is at that point, because of the way the cribs is, we're suing the manufacturer. That kid's getting his college paid for at that point. And you know, these kids are resilient. You get like 2 or 3 drops. We haven't used any of them yet, fortunately, and they're fine. As Djokovic serving down love 30, now 15-30. A big one there.
200 kilometers an hour. Hidden behind the bats of the board.
Archie expressing his displeasure back there. I think you might have heard me about the kid dropping thing. I was being silly, obviously. Please don't drop children. It's not good.
Hang on a minute. You plan to drop me 2 or 3 times?
I mean, you know, if we're being honest, they're very wiggly. Very, very wiggly.
This is where you're saying they're pretty much asking to have the grip loosened.
Well, the poet, singer, songwriter Kelly Clarkson says, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." So something to think about. Another big serve. Man, Djokovic's serve has bailed him out of some tough spots a few times in this match.
It is at the moment, isn't it? It's keeping him in the contest.
Absolutely. Hey, chat, if you are with us, tell us where you are watching from and give us your predictions at 30-all 4-4 in the second here with who you think's going to win this match and why.
Oh, hello, Vacherot's in this service game. He's in this point.
Extended exchange. Ooh, these backhands.
Just the angles both of them are getting. And it's still in. Both of them really going for the lines on those backhands.
This is going to be a 20-point exchange.
Now we've got the forehand exchange. Cross court again, over back to the backhands. Goes for the slice. Vacherot comes forward, just sticks it long. And Vacherot goes for the dink. It's over. Djokovic, does he get to it? He does. Vacherot goes cross court into the net. What a way Djokovic is able to win that point. He's asking for the fans. They're going crazy.
Look at Djokovic. He's getting them worked up there.
He's so happy at that point. How did he win that one?
I have no idea. How many shots did that exchange? I think that was probably 22 or 23. It felt like maybe more even.
Such a lot. But the fact that we're using it wasn't just like, you know, okay, we started with a bit of a baseline exchange, but the usage of all the court by both of them.
That's also a point where Vacherot's relative inexperience compared to the GOAT shows. That was an inexcusably bad lob attempt by Djokovic. And that was, a shot that gets it done. 28-shot rally, by the way. A shot that gets it done against most players in the world, but just wasn't a good enough dropper. And Vacherot needed to go for the slam there and emphatically end the point rather than that touch volley, allowing Djokovic to hang in there, cost him that point. And then just not capitalizing on a very, very weak lob attempt is a shame. Djokovic now serving for the game. Ooh, and almost got it with that.
5-4, and then potentially to be in the realm of a break of Vacherot's serve to taking this to a third set.
I think that Djokovic breaks at 5-4, and we go 3. Oh, here we go.
Ooh,
wow, what a return!
What a return!
My goodness.
And now he's like
yeah. What's he hunched over about? He hit a serve. And then he got a winner hit off of it. And so, it's not like he expended himself that much on that point. I guess that is a holdover from the 28-shot exchange previously, which I guess would make sense. James, deuce at 4-all. It doesn't get much more dramatic than this. Djokovic given a little bit of leeway by the chair umpire on the serve clock there. As I think he has earned.
Vacherot's doing his best to stick in this as long as he can. Oh, just moving it. Cross court, up the line. Can Djokovic get to it? He just does, but it's short in the court. Vacherot goes up with the forehand. Has the break point chance here.
I have been really impressed by Vacherot this match. I mean, James, that's real tennis. I mean, he's taking it to the GOAT right now, and I recognize this is not A+ Djokovic, but I mean, he is. It's not like Djokovic is playing terribly. What letter grade would you assign to his performance by his current standards today for Djokovic's game.
I would say we're seeing like a B- Djokovic.
Yeah. I think right in that C+ B- range feels exactly right to me as well. And so look, Vacherot, if you can hang with Djokovic on a C+ B- day,
I think he's just got the time violation. Djokovic there.
Interesting. At this stage in his career, I think he's willing to take that and just deal with the hit to catch his breath. So is this a second serve?
That's the second serve now. That went long.
Oh, I thought that was a let. That sailed.
I got distracted because I just got a YouTube push notification about the Djokovic Zizou match by Talking Tennis. Thanks, John. You're distracting me here, even on my
I hear good things about those guys at Talking Tennis. Yeah, I think what do they say, that they're really handsome?
Double fold.
Ooh, that's a bad break. Every break's a bad break. That's
Vacherot now is a service hold away from the biggest final of his career. How are the nerves, Valentin? How are the nerves?
I mean, he has served incredibly this entire tournament. That is the strength of his game. And now it's going to be put to the test against the greatest Turner.
He's clapping the line umpire. Well, also clapping the umpire. Well, I'm sorry, Djokovic. He's been very lenient with you throughout the entirety of this match.
Yeah, I think it's outrageous to blame the umpire for that. I think that is in fact bad form on Djokovic's part because look, you might not like the rules, but the umpire is not the one who wrote them. It's their job to enforce them, and the umpire was generous in many ways. Or has been generous. You know, the multiple medical timeouts being permitted. The kind of extending the shot clock just a little bit for the GOAT. And I think that's fair and deserved, but. Yeah, that's outrageous if he's going to have any kind of sass for the chair umpire there.
Yeah, it feels
Vacherot looking cool, calm, and collected.
He just needs to concentrate now on next point. Where are you going to place this serve? That's what you need to be thinking about. Don't think about the opportunities that come from this. Don't think about anything else. But where are you going to be putting this ball next? That is your. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, when was the last time that a qualifier got to the final of a Masters event? I think Jan and Struff in Madrid in 22. I think that was the last time.
Yeah. We have seen some really wacky results in a few of the Masters these last few years, and I think to a point that you made early on, and many of the top 30 players will make, the difference between being number 1 in the world and number 200 in the world is so much smaller than I think people realize. And if you want to read something fantastic about that, read a piece. I think he missed it. He missed it. David Foster Wallace wrote a piece about Michael Joyce, who was the number 67 in the world player at his career. Fantastic pieces. Vacherot now serving 15 love, 3 points away from the final, and potentially doubling his career earnings in 2 weeks. What a story!
What a serve! What a serve out wide. When the pressure is on.
James, I think the Monegasque player is unafraid.
He is unafraid. If he can keep finding spots like that over the next 2 points, what a way he could be finishing this match. Okay, goes up, goes cross court. Just goes like
just sailed a touch.
But it's a second serve here. He just needs to make sure he chooses where the place is correctly.
Wow. What a moment. I wouldn't have bet any amount of money.
Fault.
Ooh, every double's a bad double, but that's when we started this broadcast game.
Just go for the serve that feels most natural to you.
Agreed. When we started this broadcast, did you think there's any chance we would end up here with Vacherot not just serving for a chance to win, but serving for a chance to win in straight sets?
No, I thought if it's going to be straight sets, anyone, it's going to be straight sets Djokovic.
Agreed. 30-15.
Goes for that one. He were in the rally. Djokovic cross court from Vacherot. He just needs to keep playing.
We are
I think
2
that was a bit
points.
Too passive there. It was too passive there from the Monegasque. He's going to have to be more aggressive if he's going to want to win this.
Absolutely. He is 2 points away from winning this match, and he is 2 points away from potential heartbreak. The greatest scoring system ever devised. One of the many things that we all love about tennis.
Was that
just barely. I wonder if he's being too aggressive in his spots on these serves because he just got to make his life easy. Make your first serve. Don't worry about the second.
Yeah, play with a little bit of margin maybe on that side. It must have been a let call, that one. Yeah, play maybe just a little bit more margin. Like you can probably rein it in by a half a meter, and that sort of ball would still probably be a winner. Just gets it in.
Big second serve, 192.
Oh, and it's now, Jesus.
Djokovic with the break point. He has the chance to break back. Wow, after that, when he went up 30-love, I thought, okay, well, and that's the thing about Novak Djokovic. You truly can never count him out. As Roger Federer famously found out any number of times, but most notably in the Wimbledon final.
It's not over until the last ball has gone across the line.
Yes. It's not over.
Goes cross court. Djokovic scrambles to it. Goes for the lob there. Oh, it was a wonderful lob.
Bad miss by Djokovic.
I didn't get anything on that. Got the way to juice. So he's as you say, we're 2 points away now from either an extension of this match or Vacherot winning.
The guts that it takes to hit a swinging volley on a break point with the stakes that he's facing right now, that was a really courageous shot.
Yeah, nobody would have said it would have been a bad idea to have let that bounce. Is it going to be? That's out, and we are match point. Brilliant serve out wide. Just played with a little bit more margin. He did on that juice point. Got him the result he needed.
Match point for Vacherot. Wow. I'm so excited for the underdog here, but I'm also saddened to see where Djokovic is today, level wise, and in his career.
I was kind of hoping that we were going to get a Medvedev Djokovic final, just because I would have thought that would have been a really interesting one. But this could be even better.
I think the tournament organizers would agree with you because those ticket prices. Come on, Dean.
Oh, but it's not over yet. Not over yet. Just pushed himself too far back after not getting the first serve in.
Just erasing that match point with a huge backhand at the line. Let's see what Vacherot does. It's always tough to have a match point and not convert mentally. There can be a physical letdown associated with it. Let's see if Vacherot is able to continue to battle. Is that who is in his box there? His coach?
I think it must be his wife as well, as the blonde woman who sat behind, or a girlfriend at least.
Another match point. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this before the end of the match. Vacherot, another product of American college tennis.
I think the guy who sat next to the coach is the doubles player who won the doubles title at Monaco earlier this year. I've forgotten his name, but I know it was another Monegasque player.
Another match point for the Monegasque, which would be a great band name.
And he's won it. He went out wide. He has beaten Novak Djokovic to book a place in the final of the Shanghai Masters, Rolex Shanghai Masters.
When the American...
It was a physically compromised Djokovic who's really giving a great little talk to Valentin at the net there. It has been it was a physically compromised Djokovic for long periods of this match, but he still needed to get across the line, and he did it. He will be, it's from qualification from ranked outside the world's top 200 to the final of the Shanghai Masters. What a story! This probably will have to go down as one of these stories of the year. If anything else, we have not seen anything like this, in a potential chance that he could play his cousin in the final if that match goes the way of Arthur Rinderknecht. What a win for the Monegasque. He is probably on cloud nine at the moment. He'll have to recover. It's a short turnaround to what he's been used to. He will be playing tomorrow.
Yep.
But what a win, and as you say, he's going to be going up to. I have to double check his live rankings at the moment, but we do know about his money situation where he will be over doubling his career earnings.
Look at him, James. He's doing this. He can believe it, but he can't believe it. this is not just why we love tennis. This is why we love sport. You know, at the end, and this is in particular, I think, why we love individual sports. It is two people out there, and anything can happen. And we have seen somebody change not just their ranking, not just their career earnings, but his lot in life over the course of 2 weeks. And I find myself getting emotional almost. It's a beautiful thing. You know, I think we all have hopes, we all have dreams, and to watch somebody achieve theirs in real time is a uniquely special human experience, and it's hard to feel anything other than joy. It is tinged by the fact that Djokovic does not have the level that we are accustomed to. He's clearly battling physical challenges and will for the remainder of his career in all likelihood. We might have seen the last of his best days already. But also, Novak Djokovic made the semifinals of yet another big tournament, a thing that he's done time and time again this season. And so hopefully we have not seen the last of the Serbian, the GOAT. But today we just celebrate an amazing story, a special run, and something that's been a lot of fun to watch. Absolute congrats to the Monegasque, which now I think we have said in the triple digits, and we'll just keep saying.
Yeah. Just to give just to let you know where he goes in the live rankings, he is currently up to 58 in the world.
Come on, wow!
Starting the tournament, literally 100 and it was around about 104, so 204 in the world, was outside the world's top 200, was holding on to just trying to even get into qualification for the Australian Open. He is going to be well in there, and the rank at the moment next year he is going to have a ranking which is going to get him into all the main tour events he wants to enter. I mean, and the biggest thing is that if he wins tomorrow, which there's a possibility he could do, he would go to 40 in the world.
So wait a second. So those tournaments that we were talking about earlier, now that he's won this match, is he will get main draw entry? Wow. And so he's going to keep these points for a full year. So
yeah, I mean, the big thing is that he's still reliant on wildcards to get himself into the main tour events that still take place this year. Because he didn't enter them at all, even in qualifying, or even as an alternate. But next year, if he wants to, at the moment he may even get. He won't actually, because Monaco doesn't have anything in terms of a women's player at the moment. But if he wanted to, he could get into the main draw of Brisbane. He could get into the main draw of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
The way he's going at the moment, if he wins tomorrow, he could even be seeded at those tournaments as an 8 or a 7 or an 8 seed. It has been that sort of run that will change his whole career. Certainly for the first half of 2026, it will change his career.
I don't think that the casual fan
about his plans.
Oh yeah, I don't think the casual fan realizes how big of a deal it is to have immediate entry into the main draw. Not only do you not have to play the matches, not only there are prize money implications. If you are an entrant into the qualifiers, it's not a guarantee that your room and food are paid for, right? I mean, it's the financial implications, especially in an individual sport where the player has to pay their own way at the lower levels of the top has to pay for their coaches. I mean, he will now be able to invest more money into his body. He will be able to build out his team. He will be able to, he will in all likelihood attract new sponsors. He will get new endorsement deals. He is now, one of the greatest Monaco-based tennis players, or one of the greatest based Monegasque players of all time. He has changed his lot in life permanently in these 2 weeks in Shanghai. This is the stuff they make movies and miniseries and write books about. It's been really, really cool to watch it and to watch this with you, James. With that, do we have any closing thoughts? Things we want to discuss? Maybe a brief preview of the Medi Rinderknecht match before we get out of here?
Well, I think we've kind of talked to death about this one. I mean, the main thing is that Djokovic, as we know, between now and the end of the season, it's going to be interesting to see what he ends up doing. And although he's technically down on I believe he is technically down on the list still for Paris Masters. Just double checking, he is still down for that one. We only know the only tournament he's committed to is the Athens event, which is owned by his family, which takes place between the Paris Masters and the Tour finals. If he plays the Tour finals, is another question. We know he skipped it last year, but he looked to skip it again for another year. Or will he want to challenge himself against the best players in the world? I mean, we've talked to death about how great this is going to be for Valentin going forward from here, and it's going to change his entire 2026 season of what he will want to do in terms of tournaments and where he'll want to play his tennis. As you say, so going on to the Medvedev match, the big thing. What do you think is going to be the big things that are going to maybe allow Rinderknech to win this match, or allow Medvedev to win this match?
I think, as it always is, Medvedev is if he implodes, that's the best way to beat him. The second best way is just to force the action. I think, if you're getting in a defensive battle with Daniel Medvedev, you should be planning on going home. I think, I came into this match, the one that we just watched, thinking Medvedev was going to win pretty handily, and Djokovic was going to first Djokovic was going to win pretty handily. Sometimes in sport and in tennis, things just happen. Things just don't make sense. And this is one of those moments where the story is too good. I don't think that the crowd would particularly care about Rinderknech under normal circumstances. But I think with what is happening right now, I think that they will be more behind him than we have ever seen, right? For Arthur Rinderknech.
I think that's the story we want to see now. We want to see the cousins play each other in the final. That would be a phenomenal final if that could be what we get.
And then on top of that, what's so interesting, so Medvedev is uniquely well equipped to play with a hostile crowd, right? And so does that raise his level as well as Rinderknech's? Do we then get a kind of an instant classics type of match? Does Medvedev take that hostile crowd, if I'm correct in thinking that might happen, and roll him? And we just don't know. And so it's a match that, it doesn't really pass the on paper test of being a match that is must watch on the ATP tour, but it has become one because of the context that it's happening in. And so I'm really looking forward to watching that later on. Would be remiss if I ever got through a broadcast without saying that it should have been Lerner Tien in this match. Him and Medvedev are developing quite a little rivalry.
Cameron Norrie. It should have been Cameron Norrie, not
Lerner Tien. Yeah. No, but so look at that. Look at that. 58th, up 146 spots, now ahead of Sebastian Corda, behind Adrian Manarino. For Valentin Vacherot. The double V name. You don't see that very often. That's kind of neat too. Dan Davenport, by the way, he put in the chat that Valentin looked shocked knocking out Djokovic. Yeah, I think, Dan, I think that he was. Right? I know he's a person in the world. He knows who Novak Djokovic is. And I think that it was a legitimately shocking outcome, and one that he will be telling his kids and grandkids, and if he's so lucky, his great-grandkids about one day.
But you know what happens, and just because we'll probably end it here, is what happens when you put a V and a V next to each other? You get the W. You get the win.
Oh, what a place to end it, James. It is a pleasure, as always, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this and including me. And I hope to call many more matches with you before the end of the year, and then certainly in Australia.
Absolutely. We've got loads of still top quality tennis coming up between now and the end of the year. As you said, we've got the 250s next week after Shanghai. We've got the 500s in Vienna and Basel, the big Paris Masters, and then of course on the women's side we've got the Tour Championship, the Tour Finals, which take place after the Paris Masters, and then after the women's Tour Finals, the men's Tour Finals in Turin. All sorts of great tennis. It's great being on with you, Zach. I do love always. Quality matches with you because it's just talking, and I like that. It's fantastic.
It might not be talking tennis. It might not be talking tennis, but it is always talking, and that is the Zach promise that I am willing to make. That was a fun one, man. I mean, I want to say one more time, like the level was pretty good. Like Djokovic, it's not like he looked terrible between points. He made some bad choices here and there, more so than we're accustomed to during, but like. He didn't play terribly. Vacherot is just very, very good today. And this whole 2 weeks.
Those are true. Right, we better shoot off just so that people can get ready for maybe the second match. And get the Medvedev thing. But thank you everybody for joining, and goodbye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.